Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. For those of you who do not know, who may be new to the channel, this is normally a cryptocurrency channel. However, I've noticed quite recently that a lot of people have been asking me in the comment section for ways to make extra money, side hustle, side business, what have you. I think this goes for everyday normal people who are not into crypto and also for people who are into the cryptocurrency space, because one of the main things that we typically deal with is the question of how to make extra money on the side to be able to put into cryptocurrencies. This can also, it goes anywhere from if you need to make some extra money to pay your rent, if you need to make some extra money to pay for things in your life that you want to buy, or simply if you are trying to save up for a house. It never ends. Like, there's always a need for extra money in some sort of way. So this is going to be very impromptu. This is going to be me going over things that I myself have gone through, or people very close to me who I know have also gone through the exact same thing. And I will tell you, or rather we will discuss some ways to side incomes. A lot of them will be not unorthodox, but I'll definitely go through them and explain to you why I have chosen such things. I know you might see it on the screen for those of you not looking at the screen. When it says right here, this isn't even hyper important, this entire page. It's more of it says how much money is enough. And this is, I think, a very important question to first ask yourself. A lot of people have vastly different ideas of how much money is enough. I know a couple of friends who are not happy unless they are making 6-7 figures per year. However, on the other side, people would probably be extremely ecstatic if they were only making an additional 500 per month. It goes completely different ways. So I know it sounds arbitrary. I know it sounds almost stupid to even think of it in the very beginning, but it's very important to ask yourself, how much money do you want to make? Because otherwise you're just running on this treadmill without really anywhere to go. Like for me, typically personally, I guess I'll be completely honest with you. I have 2 YouTube channels. I have around 2 to 3 different businesses. I would say 2 that are solidified. The third one I'm still thinking of trying to get it off the ground. I'm doing around 4 to 5 things per month. I am always trying to make at least 5 figures cumulatively. And that's also from my rental incomes. That's also from other things that I'm also doing. I typically don't talk about that, but for this instance, here we are. That's usually what I try to make, because I try to live a certain lifestyle. I'm completely minimalist, but I do like investing in cryptocurrencies, and I do like investing in art, and I do like investing in real estate. Therefore, I try to make as much as I possibly can to be able to do all these other things. However, once again, this may be different for everyone else. So to finally begin, as far as side hustles, I'm going to go over a couple. And once again, these are my opinions of things that I've seen. I started investing around roughly 2012, 13, 14, somewhere around that time. And one of the very first things that I learned is that you need money to be able to start to invest. You can't really do it with nothing. I've seen other videos before online. People are talking about learn how to invest with nothing, but it always ends up not scammy, but you have to beg people for stuff, or you have to ask for stuff. You have to be in debt to other people for a very long time to be able to get money that isn't technically yours, because you're in debt to them for the next 10 to 15 years while you use that money to pay off for something else. So to avoid all of that discussion on how to get something for nothing, the first thing right here is, it says the most sophisticated online survey platform on the planet is doing surveys. These are things in the beginning of this video that I personally would tell you to stay away from. Why? In the very beginning, I saw a multitude of websites, and I've noticed it's also very frustrating as well, because I'm going to assume that a couple of people here have definitely looked before for other side hustles. And one of the main frustrations is that you kind of get thrown the exact same thing over and over, and it's kind of like, okay, I get it. And one of the things that you have probably been bombarded with was the idea of taking surveys. When I first learned about taking surveys, the entire idea was you can find these websites, flexibility, not even downplaying this one. Nothing in this video is to be spoken down to, and I am not affiliated with and or promoting any other company, as I do not do that on this channel, not being paid for anything. The entire point is, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the idea of doing surveys. I have found personally that surveys are garbage. And that simply goes down to the fact that you are given the idea that you can sign up for a multitude of different websites. You can start doing surveys. They ask you all these questions. They ask you, this is a 100-question survey. You get $5, $10, $15, $20. I found that they are very far and few in between. If you are looking for a side hustle and or a side business, you probably want something that is a bit more stable, that you are not simply waiting for an email to drop in. I remember at one point I was signed up to, I believe, 7 different websites. This had to be in 2011, 2012, before I started my foray into everything that I'm doing right now. And I remember sitting there sometimes like waiting to hear that ping in the email to see if I had gotten a new survey. And they would come, 3 of them would come in a day. 4 days, nothing. You'd get one a week later, and then about 4 days later, you get another one. So they're if you're looking for something more stable, unless you can literally find around 300 different websites for surveys to sign up to the exact same time, this is something I would personally avoid. The second thing is, and I keep seeing around as well, is stuff like washing cars. Unless you are in a town, city, state, province, country where it is constantly raining and people are constantly in need of someone to clean their car after whatever, I mean, then probably avoid washing cars as well. But once again, if you live in a tropical place and dirt's flying around and people need their cars washed all the time, by all means, please do so. There's a video that I saw a couple of weeks ago of this guy who was trying to make something from nothing, and it's really funny. He ended up, I kid you not, he ended up raising enough money through selling candy to get like a broken bucket thing. He used that bucket to like wash people's cars. Ended up making about a good 10, 15 per car wash. And then, on certain days, he was making a couple hundred per day. But also, he was living on an island nation where things like that were typically more common. The other part that I saw before, and this was something that I thought was actually it was kind of funny. This one says shoveling snow. Unless you live in the mountains or it's snowing all the time, I mean, if you feel the need or feel compelled to be able to do some extra exercise and you're trying to shovel some snow for the lady who lives next door, by all means, please go for it. I saw this idea pushed next to the idea of opening a Halloween store. Meaning a store where you sell masks and other Halloween things year round. And I was like, well, I know what I'm not going to continue looking for on this website. The entire point, I mean, there's once again, these are actual side hustles. These are things that people can do that you technically, especially right now, if you are listening to this and it is winter wherever you are and it is snowing, you can also do this. And it's not even that it's a bad idea. It's more like there are other things that you could be doing, especially in the comfort of your own home. Once again, if you're looking to get some extra exercise and make some extra money, by all means do so. Not to discourage it, like I said. There are what have you. These are just these are just things that I've seen that kind of like annoyed me, because when you look for ways to kind of like have like side hustles and stuff like that, it's always like shovel snow, pick up poop, walk a dog, and it's like that's not what most people kind of want to do. This is on the cusp, and I mean like the actual cusp. For those of you not looking at the screen, this is a website called Fiverr, Fiverr. You may or may have not heard about this. This website is interesting. You can pretty much offer anything that you want or find people who want you to do a job and you do it for them. It says popular are voiceovers, translations, logo design, articles, and blog posts. If you have a skill, you can easily have it become profitable on Fiverr. Part of the issue is that if you are starting out on Fiverr, it takes a while. It's a very grindy type game. You won't go on here. You may see some people are offering things for 95 euros, 9 euros, 47, blah, 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 etc., etc. In the beginning, you will probably not be making 95 anything an hour. It's called Fiverr. For those of you who don't know or may not have English as a first language, a Fiverr is usually a $5 bill or a £5 note. It means 5. Usually you do a job on here and you get $5, pounds, euros for your job. However, if you are more skilled, that's why I said this one's on the cusp. Because in the beginning, you will definitely be doing odd jobs. I've seen people asking for like give me a recipe, because they're trying to make a book, and they will take your recipe that you give them and throw it into a book, and they will give you $5 for it. I've seen, I mean, the sky's the limit. If you feel like you have some type of an odd talent, if you have done voiceover work before, multitude of things, I would definitely check out Fiverr. Like I said, on the cusp. If you stick with it for a while, it becomes very profitable. I've seen a lot of people who have like very high skills on there, or rather per hourly skills. Anyway, Fiverr is definitely on the cusp from the actual beginning of where we're going to go. This is nothing more than a very strong reminder. Once again, same phrase. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says 5 steps to get rich quickly and legitimately. I will have you know, it is almost impossible to get rich quick. It is always a grind. 99.9% of the time, unless you are winning the lotto, unless you are getting an inheritance, or unless you are walking down the street, a bank has exploded and all the money is flowing exclusively into your pocket. It is always a grind. I've been doing what I've been doing for a very long time. 6, 7, 8 years. It's a while. So understand that whatever you are trying to get into, especially if you are trying to build a side business, it is not going to be as easy as you think. However, it is not going to be as difficult as you think. That is a common misconception, that things have to be difficult, that things will take blah, 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 blah. It's not true. If you find your niche and stick to it, you will definitely make money from it. It's more a matter of how much money you want to make and how much effort and time you actually put into it. That is the truth. Now, I know this one may seem a bit weird for those of you not looking at the screen. I am on eBay. And why am I on eBay? It says fox fur coat. Why did I type in fox fur coat? You may have heard before about selling on eBay, and I've noticed a frustration before because I've seen a lot of other videos, and I think even when I first started this channel, I think in 2017, the beginning of 2017, one of the very first things I made a video of was what to sell on eBay. And I noticed at the end of the video, people were a bit annoyed because they didn't really understand what I was talking about, and they could not figure out what to sell on eBay. I'm going to tell you here and now, you can sell anything on eBay. And I don't mean some things. I mean every possible thing that's ever lived, walked, breathed, is dead, never been alive on this earth. You can sell it. I got started selling on eBay around 2012, 2013. It must have been around that time. Don't know the exact date, because I walked into a shop and I was with someone and they wanted a fur coat. I happen to be in Eastern Europe, and lo and behold, fur is not that big there. It's not as expensive, not as so blah, 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 blah. People just simply don't wear it. It's not as much of a fashion thing as it is in other parts of the world. So what ended up happening was this friend was looking for a fur coat. Lo and behold, we went into a secondhand shop, and the secondhand shop had a plethora of them. It was almost kind of weird how many fur coats that they had. And she went over there and said, "Hey, how much are how much are the fur coats?" And the person was like, "They are 30. And she was like, 30 what? And the person was like, 30 euros. And she was like, "Oh." The crazy part is that she lost her mind, because these fur coats normally, where she was from the States, would cost around $200, $300, $400, $500. Immediately in my mind, I went, okay, let's do this. And I started buying the fur coats from this place. I think I bought 3 in one day. I made a deal with the guy. He gave me 3 of them. I think he said 30 each. I don't know how I talked him down to 15 each. So I got 3 fur coats for 45. I went on to eBay when I got home, and I remember it was like a red fur fox something coat. I think I put it on for $299.99. And it sold. Why it sold? Because once again, people will buy anything, and that price that I gave them was a treat. It was probably less than they thought they would be able to find a red fox fur coat for. And I remember a friend asking me how much I charged for shipping. I think I charged $9.99 for shipping, but the actual shipping, because it was a gigantic fur coat, came out to $29.99 altogether in a huge box, wrapped up, made it look nice and pretty. And they were like, "Yeah, but you lost 20 on the shipping." And I was like, I bought it for 15 and I sold it for 300. If you have any future plans of selling on eBay, I will tell you something right now. do not be afraid to lower your shipping lower than other people. Sometimes people see free shipping actually like as a bit of a turnoff, and that's a really weird thing that I found out. People feel like they need to pay a certain amount for shipping to make it seem almost worthwhile for them getting it. I don't know why people have this in their head. It kind of is what it is. I sold, it had to be around 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11 fur coats over the course of my fur coat selling venture. And then I moved into, which many people do not know, and I'm going to tell all of you right now. This is more of it's just to give you an idea of what you can sell. I think people, once again, don't understand that you can sell everything. You can buy in bulk. I had friends before, and I kid you not, if you go onto eBay, I'm not going to do it in this one particular page. You can go onto eBay. You can find stuff from sellers in China, actual sellers in China. They will sell you anything you're looking for. I had a friend, it's not little pins for your hair. I can't remember what it was. It was something that women use often on a daily basis that you can find in the store. I think they're like $3, $4, $5. They were selling them individually for, I think, 1 cent from China. And she bought a whole bunch of them and then was selling them on eBay. It was making extra hundreds per month. It was there. You can literally sell anything. The other point being something that I think a lot of people don't think about. And this is, it was for a while one of my very large secrets. I used to sell comic books. Yes. Used to sell comic books. The main fascinating thing about them is, much like reselling or flipping other things, you can sell or resell, flip comic books for incredible amounts. For those of you who do not know, typically comics are around $2.99, $3.99 per comic. There are tons of blogs, websites, YouTube channels that tell you like what the next cool, hot, amazing, funky, fly, fresh thing is going to be. Pay attention to them. A lot of them will even tell you stuff that came out years ago. You can go to different websites, buy them up quickly. It's crazy. It's weird me telling you all this stuff because these were my secrets. And the fact that I'm saying them out loud hurts me a little bit. Case in point, this comic right here. I'm just going to slide over it just so I can, kind of tell you a bit of the story. It says Captain Marvel number 17, second print. Typically in the comic book world, if there are first prints, like this one right here, a second print will sometime have a variant cover. In the case of this second print, I think there were only, what was it, like 400 or 500 copies made. I saw people posting about this when Captain Marvel number 17 first print came out. And I think the second print was coming out. No one really cared for it because people didn't realize that it was the first appearance of Kamala Khan, who was going to be, I think, the new Captain Marvel or something like that. I think she's already in one of the cartoons as well. I ran to my local store. I will never forget this. And I'm combing through everything, trying to look and see. And I was like, I got really discouraged. There was a box in the corner, like near the side. It was for like editions that people simply didn't want. My store had 6 of these. Not 3, not 4, not 5. They had 6 of this exact cover. I remember I ran home as fast as I could, trying not to get hit by cars. And I think when I first got them, I think these were only selling, air quotes, for $200 each. Once again, I think they were $2.99 in the store. It's absolutely insane. I think I sold all 3 of them at once. I think I put them on for $700. I think somebody bought them for $600, which was totally fine. And the shipping I also had, I think, was $3.99. If you plan on reselling anything, especially on eBay, understand the sky's the limit. It doesn't matter what you want to sell, it will sell. You have to find a niche. I've seen people before selling World War II memorabilia, hats, shoes. I mean, especially if you're really, also, eBay is also really good if you're trying to get enough money or some extra money to be able to push into an actual other business. This is something that a lot of people forget about. A lot of times, people end up buying stuff in their house that has no value. It just kind of sits there, really doing nothing. You can take that stuff and sell all the stuff you don't need and use that money for something else. I mean, yeah, comics aren't the easiest thing to really get into, especially when it comes to flipping and selling comics, but there's a lot of money to be made. It's actually kind of insane. Moving on. The next thing, and I was almost hesitant to do this, and that was simply because of how I live my life, and I know that sounds a little weird. It's more like a, hold on. I was spinning the chair around, and I wrapped myself in the cord around the chair, and I actually couldn't move. So, like I said, I base this off of how I live my own life, and I realize that that's absolute nonsense because other people live their lives in completely different ways. Much like Uber and Lyft and all these other things, Amazon Flex is basically a service where you become a delivery partner for Amazon. You download an app. You're pretty much a delivery person. I can't really make it any cooler or brighter for you. And I thought that for a while, not that it wouldn't take off, but that it wouldn't be as popular as it currently is. There are tons of opportunities. And it says even somewhere around, where is it? It says most delivery partners earn around $18 to $25. I assume these are US dollars per hour delivering with Amazon Flex. Actual earnings will depend on your location, any tips you receive, how long it takes you to complete your deliveries, and other factors. If you have ever done Uber or Lyft or any other thing like that before, this is incredibly similar. We are in a time, and I say this in the most honest way, when I was younger, not too many years ago, I remember my teachers telling me that the only way to make money was to go to university, study hard, and so, because you would find the job, and that job would last you for the rest of your life. I'm sure a couple of you have chuckled because that's not how life works anymore. In just a couple of years, things have dramatically changed, and people are looking for side jobs, side hustles, side anything to make any type of extra money, and that's just how, for the foreseeable future, how life is going to be. If you find yourself in a situation where you have a car where you may even take this up as a complete job. You know how rare it is to find anything that will pay you $18 to $25 per hour, keeping in mind that you will be paying for petrol/gas as you are lugging stuff around. But if a lot of people find themselves in situations where the things you may have to deliver may only be 10 to 15 blocks in any direction. So you may then also find yourself in a situation where you may even be able to, I don't want to say walk quickly or jog. You'll definitely be, really tired, but the area that you're trying to encompass won't even be that much. And imagine only doing this 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day and getting an extra 100 per day. That's absolutely incredible, especially if you already have another side business, which I think if you find yourself with the extra time, make sure not to overdo it. A lot of people try to drown themselves in work, like myself. You get burned out and it's not very fun. If you find yourself with extra time, if you find yourself with no job at all, which is probably the situation for a couple of people, that's just how the world is right now. These are amazing extra ways to make money. And I know it sounds stupid, but they're so simple. If you have a car and you're okay with lifting packages and scanning them with your phone and delivering them to other people, this may not be an option for everyone depending on where you live. However, even if you only made an extra 100 per week, I know for a lot of people that may not sound like a lot, but think of where that extra 100 can go. How many extra bills you have to pay, how many other things you have to pay down, food, luxuries. You can put that extra 100 per week, 400 per month. At the end of the year, that's a nice vacation. It's very, very simple. You just have to find what sounds the most relaxing and nice to you. Simply because some people may love the idea of Amazon Flex and other people may be like, wait, I can wash cars. The idea kind of just falls into where you feel most comfortable. This is something that I thought was a joke when I got into it. This was around the same exact time I tried doing this on eBay. And it's not that easy. Amazon is definitely the place for this. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says buy and sell your textbooks for the best price. This is just an example website. Did you know that there are tons of apps out there that allow you to go into stores, scan books, and see exactly what they're selling on for other websites? Not even joking. I learned that a long time ago when I first got into eBay as well. It's really fascinating as well. If you have any secondhand shop, Goodwill, used books. We don't want these things. Take them away for free. These books are $1 type stores around you. I think everyone has something similar to that relatively around them. This one right here is called Barcode Scanner for Amazon. There are a bajillion of these apps. This is only an example. Here's an actual list right here, what have you. There are also videos as well on YouTube. You can find other people who do this as like their daily lives, and they will teach you how to do it as well. And I wondered for a while why they were giving away the secret. Is because they live in completely different places, and sometimes the book don't also match. You probably won't be finding the exact book that they're also finding. So for those of you who don't know, there are like millions of books out there. You pretty much, from what I've seen from the other videos and from what I did, I tried this for about a week. It's not for the faint of heart. Is if you love an adventure and if you love treasure hunting, this is for you. You pretty much go to secondhand shops, places that have really cheap books. You download one of these apps. I think I used Barcode Scanner. I don't remember exactly which one it was. I think I had 3 of them on my phone. And you scan the back of the barcode of the book, and it tells you this thing is selling for Amazon for $21.68. This one is selling on Amazon for $53.01, like the average price of what it's currently being sold for. And then you have that shiver because you go up to the counter and you say, how much is this book? And they go, oh yeah, that whole section is $1. And you're like, oh, that's cool. So you find yourself scanning these books nonstop inside of a store looking for treasure, kind of. I made a couple of hundred off of this. Like I said, it's not for the faint of heart because it gave me a bit of anxiety. It's a constant like searching thing, and you end up finding about 15, 20 books. You have to go home with all of them. They're kind of heavy. You get home, and then you have to wait about a good 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days for people to be able to actually buy them. You can do this on eBay, most certainly. But Amazon for stuff like this is far more streamlined. And I mean completely more streamlined. Yeah, even it has it right here with the little barcode thing. This is something, if you want to be more active, if you really want to get out, and I mean, it's fun, but you have to find the actual balance for it. This is definitely it's not unorthodox. It's just something that many people would not think of. You can, once again, I'm going to reiterate, you can resell anything. There's a market for every single thing on this planet. It's usually you have to find a niche. Selling books, once again, to other people who want them is also an incredible niche, and it definitely does work. This is a very good idea, especially if you have or find yourself in an area where there are tons of secondhand used books, all these other things like that shops. It is really, really easy. I can't stress that enough. If this interests you, once again, there are tons of other YouTube channels out there where they will show you exactly how to do it. Some people, we'll just move on. You'll watch their videos and you'll see exactly what goes on. This is one, and I had a friend who did this starting from 2 years ago. And I remember the moment she started, I thought she was a little crazy, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It says Instagram for business, everything you need to know, but that's not exactly. It was very difficult because I think a lot of people don't even know that this is a thing. She made money, my friend, by managing the Instagram accounts for other companies. And in the very beginning, like I said, I thought it was a little crazy. I thought it was kind of weird until I realized, and I started going with her to these restaurant stores and stuff like that, is that a lot of these places were run by older people. Not to say that older people won't know how to use Instagram, but you understand what I'm saying. She pretty much, and I'm not joking, she was a vegan. So she would go into vegan restaurants and she would ask them, did they have an Instagram? And they would go, no, sorry, we don't have one. And she would go, well, I can start one for you. I can help you build one. I can help you so-and-so, and just pay me $50 a week for it. And they were like, really? And she was like, yeah, it's no problem. I think she had around 10 of these that she was doing. So she was making an additional $500 per week on the side of her other like art business and clothing business and stuff that she was doing. And I was asking her how she managed it. How does she manage to take a new photo every single day for these companies who needed help, who needed so-and-so? In the example of the actual restaurant that she was working for, the first vegan restaurant, she would go inside on a Monday and they would show her, they would like prepare meals for her that were going to go out during the day or like whatever as people were ordering them, and she would take photos of them as they were going out on the little like thing or whatever. As they're preparing them, she would take photos of the people at the bar, of the people in the very front, the hosts, the managers, other families sitting there smiling, eating of the food. She would get about 30, 40, 50 photos over the course of one day on a Monday. And then she would go walk to the next store, walk to the next place, so and so and so. And during the course of the week, she only had to post a photo for each place a day. That was it. She went there, and even this may not happen to you. She was also getting like free food from these places. Like I said, you may not be that lucky, but they were super happy that they had found someone who was willing to do it for them. And I think the important thing is price as well. You may be able to, the word is an upsell. You may be able to get more money from businesses, or may be able to tell them, well, you know, I charge $300 per week. I charge so and so and so. This may happen for you, but she definitely made sure that if anyone else came in, that she had lowballed them enough. You can't beat 50 a week. You cannot. That's $200 a month for business to get access to the entire world. And this is something, once again, that I think a lot of people don't think of. If you get a chance, start walking around stores in your area, your neighborhood, whatever, wherever you live, and just ask them, do they have an Instagram, and would you like to have an Instagram? A lot of them would be like, yeah, we would love to have one. And it's very simple, especially if you use Instagram. You know, it's nothing more than like hashtagging, like following the right things, following the right people, tapping like, and all these other things. And you give them a way to advertise themselves for free while you also make money on the side. Like, how many of you out there, rough question, are posting on Instagram every day for free anyway? How many of you are posting at least 5, 6, 7 of them per week? I know tons of people who, when I'm out with dinner with them, we're walking around, they're just on Instagram, they're taking selfies, they're taking photos of people riding on bikes and of food, and they're posting it. Now imagine finding a company who doesn't even know how to do that, who doesn't have the time to do that. You can do all of that and still make money for them. She was posting a photo. That was it. And she was getting free food. If you can find, depending on how professional you're trying to be, you can even email them. I mean, it's not that email's passe, but I prefer to do things in person myself. Hey, this is me, so and so and so. Do you have this? Okay, cool. We can work together. Here's my card. Here's my number. Here's my whatever. This is big, and I think a lot of people are going to miss out on something like this. Anyway, this is definitely another thing that works. A lot of companies need someone to manage it for them. A lot of people who are running businesses don't have time to do these things as well. So keep that one in mind. I've come across the situation many times where I have had people ask me how to create a side business, how to create a so-and-so, what should they do, what should they blah, blah, blah. And I've told friends before, I said, if you know another language besides English, you should teach that language to other people. I've grown up in my life where I have known a multitude of people who only knew English. Some knew Spanish as well. Usually it was just English. I had a friend, one of my very close friends who I grew up with, tell me about 3 years ago of this amazing job that she had, and I was like, what is it? She told me that she was teaching English to people in China. And I said, you're crazy. She said, no, it definitely works. You basically teach English to kids in China. I don't know how to make that much more clear. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says work is abundant. Demand for online English teachers in China is huge, meaning that you'll never be short of students no matter what your qualifications are. You'll be able to find a job teaching that you can start now. I kid you not. And I'm going to scroll down because they also have some examples of like websites and stuff like that you can do. This is incredibly easy. All it takes is patience. You have to understand, in situations like this, you will probably be dealing with younger students. You are not going to be always. I mean, you can probably find stuff as well for people who are in their 30s or 40s who also want to learn English. But usually you're going to find a number of people who want you to teach their kids English through Skype or through a website or through so-and-so. She explained to me how it works. You pretty much go through like a, what's it called? Like a screening process. Someone talks to you from the actual website who you're trying to do it. They make sure that you're friendly. Not the word well kept, you know, but you don't look a mess because they want you to be relatively presentable, have a friendly smile, and want you to understand that you are going to be dealing with kids. Do not scream at these kids. Do not get upset with them because they are also trying to learn a brand new language. And that's it. It says some companies prefer teachers with certain accents, i.e. UK or North American. These are both in incredibly high demand, depending on actually where you're even trying to teach. I know that there's a huge, I think in certain parts of, I want to say Southeast Asia and also like Singapore and other parts, they prefer the British accent. In other parts, especially if you are trying to teach kids in Europe, China, I forgot the other country, they prefer the North American accent. Everyone has their own taste. That's it. I'm going to try and find it for you. So and so and so. The only other really interesting part is that you have to typically be up during the time that the kids in China are up. You know, you can't be like, okay, well, it's noon my time. Wake those kids up. That's not going to work. She says herself, my friend, I think she has like 3, 4, 5 kids. So she's typically up relatively early, getting them ready for school. They go off to school, and then she teaches English to kids in China for about a good hour or two. And I think she says by noon, her day is done. And then her work starts up again when her kids get home. Where are the actual websites? Yeah, once again, I am not affiliated with any of these. This is something I'm telling you and showing you as a, you know, for the places to be able to do it. It says earn $14 to $22 per hour. This is, the website is VIP Kid. The next one is Q Kids. That is the letter Q and then KIDS. Live in US or Canada, bachelor's degree, previous teaching experience, which is also not even always required. I thought about doing this as well. I will tell you now, my patience runs very thin, simply because I like to, you know, keep things moving. If you've seen the other videos, you know my level of patience, especially when it comes to, anyway, I know a lot of people who are doing this who do not have bachelors, who do not have associates, who have not graduated university. I think they finished high school. I don't think I know anyone who has a GED, but I'm pretty sure as long as you are proficient in English, you understand English, and you can help. Once again, you're also teaching kids. You don't need hyper mega English levels. You're teaching them like the very basics of this. And the great part of this job as well is that it's a constant rotation. So you may be afraid that the children you're currently teaching may age out. But guess what? There's a neighbor across the street who also had a kid who's 1 year younger, and they're going to need the exact same services the next year. Next one is called Magic Ears. Is this the one I tried out for? I don't remember. You pretty much, this is part of the actual test. Like, see her headset? They actually, when they do the actual test for you, they ask you, you know, tons of questions. Where are you from? Who do you so-and-so? Blah, 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 blah. Can you say this for me? Can you, you know. So the headset, I mean, it's a job requirement, but it's still not that bad. Earning salary 18 to 26 per hour. That one's called Magic Ears. This one's called Say ABC. Salary 15 to 21 for 40-minute classes. That's less than an hour. 15 to 21. No bachelor's required. No citizenship requirements. There are tons of these. Understand, this is probably one of the, keep in mind, and I know this sounds crazy or weird, but we are in the future. Everything is online now. Every single thing is either being digitized, or you can do it through a smartphone, or most of the things we've spoken about, a barcode scanner on your phone. Selling stuff, you can sell stuff. I know people who sold stuff exclusively through their smartphone on eBay. You take a photo of it, you scan this so-and-so, you put it online that way. Everything can be done online. Especially if you already work from home, if you find yourself at home already, if you find yourself that you are a teacher or have a bachelor's or English degree or so-and-so, blah, 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 this is probably the job for you. This one's called Box Fish. Earning salary is 20 per hour. This one's called iTalki. iTalki. It's literally ITALK and then This one's UUABC. You kind of get an idea of how it is. I mean, you get the general point now. Is there any more? This is Hawo, Hawo, formerly known as 51 Talk. This is kind of what it's like. You just sit there and talk to the kid and help them to be able to pronounce this. This one's up to 22 per hour. This is major, and I don't think a lot of people know about this, knew that it was a thing. I most certainly did not even think of a situation where my friend was going to message me and say that she got a job and she's teaching kids in China English. It's absolutely insane. If you know someone else who could also use this or benefit from this, please tell them as well. Like, earning extra money is not difficult. It's about finding the things that are out there and pretty much just putting them to good use. Not difficult at all. So I hope I gave you guys enough companies. If anything, Google it. Teach English online to Chinese students. You'll be buried in websites in no time. Another one is the Amazon Associates Program. You're basically an affiliate. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, because I remember someone saying these words to me before, and I was like, oh, okay, that sounds cool, and I kind of walked away. It's probably one of the easiest things that we've spoken about. You pretty much go into Amazon, you become an Amazon affiliate member, and you pretty much take, what's the word? You like copy and paste links for ads or like things that people are trying to sell on Amazon, and you post them onto your blog, or you post them onto your vlog, or you post them onto your video YouTube channel. That's it. And whenever somebody clicks and buys, you get a portion of that money. It doesn't get much simpler than that. I tried the Amazon affiliate program before. That was at the very beginning of the channel when things were like just starting to get interesting. I changed it now, and I think the only affiliate that I have is for Ledger in my description. You don't have to click on it, but you can just look to see kind of the idea of what the actual thing is. Whenever someone buys, you get a portion of the actual commission. So if you have a blog, if you have a website, if you have a very popular Instagram, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have all these other things, you can become an Amazon affiliate member. Especially, the fascinating part that I found for this is a lot of YouTube channels that sell items or do unboxings, they have affiliate links. So if you have a larger YouTube channel, if you're looking for some other thing, if you're looking on building up something, it's free as well. Like, you pay no money. You are pretty much allowing your platform, your website, your so-and-so, your YouTube page to have someone else's link that for something that they're trying to sell. So when that thing gets clicked on, they hand you a couple of, some change and go, thank you for helping me sell my thing on another external link. That's all it is. You can make tons of money for this, especially if you've built up another business or if you are looking to build up some other type of business. Whatever that business is. I almost went into a whole list of names. Become an affiliate member. Start having other people's links, especially if you make videos about, there's a guy, he makes videos for like cameras. He goes around, takes photos of cameras, takes photos with cameras, beautiful things that he sees, beautiful people. And he goes, yeah, I used this camera and the affiliate link is in the description. I'm pretty sure a lot of you that rang a bell, you probably heard that in multiple videos. That's all it is. It's incredibly easy. It's not difficult at all, and you can make a pretty good amount of change, especially if you have a large enough platform for selling other people's stuff. It's not even half difficult. Not at all. The other thing, and I think this has to be mentioned because I think the market for it isn't saturated, and I think that the amount of hype and energy around this is not going anywhere anytime soon. Goes back to the entire idea of flipping and or reselling, and this is basically for the clothing world. I think it's very important that people once again get this into their heads. And it's become such a huge legitimate business that there are tons of people who make an astronomical amount of money. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says reselling shoes, how I make $10,000 a month flipping sneakers. That is not even close to a joke, and I assume that they're probably even making more than that from when they first actually made this article. This is a very easy side hustle business to get into because there are multiple ways for you to get sneakers. There's not just one sneaker that's coming out per month. There are usually, I think there are sneakers that come out like every day. I know there are multiple that come out per week. You can find the one that fits you best, the one that you can actually get. You can get a lot of them through apps. There are also websites like this, like StockX. I mean, this is kind of more like the resale platform than anything else. It's more like a huge example. These retailed for $190 in 2018. They're reselling anywhere from $1,400, $1,100, $1,700. That's a huge profit. And the sneaker market, especially if you become really good at reselling and flipping sneakers, a lot of people actually hold on to them to sell them at some later so-and-so date, because a lot of sneakers that came out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago worth several thousand now. So it's kind of a question of, do you want to buy it now, sell it to make an extra couple hundred, or do you want to buy it, hold on to it, and then in 10 years sell it for a couple of thousand? This is huge. This goes even as far as, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard of Supreme. I know that's a very tight market to get into, as Supreme stuff is very limited. It goes the entire way. It also goes the way of buying art as well, which I spoke about in the other video. There are so many ways for you to make money on the side, and I don't think you fully grasp that yet. I don't think you've come to the understanding or the conclusion that you can make an enormous amount of money. When I was selling fur coats on eBay for the time that I was doing it, I was making an extra couple thousand. When I was selling comics, I was making a good additional $2,500 per month. I was selling comic books. It's about finding what you're good at, what you like. And it goes across the entire spectrum. If you don't like sneakers, sell comics. If you don't like comics, sell fur coats. If you don't like fur coats, you can sell fake fingernails. If you don't like fake fingernails, you can sell hair clips. If you don't like hair clips, you can sell glasses from China. Anything, whatever interests you. That's also another really big thing. Don't get into a side hustle that you're going to hate later. Don't look at something that I'm showing you on the screen and just see the big numbers and go, well, that looks amazing, but you're going to hate it in the long run. Have a passion for it. I grew up with comic books. I love comic books. I saw someone else in the comment section a couple of weeks ago talking about that they buy Golden Age comics, and I wish I could have given you a digital hug. I love comic books. I love art. These are the things that I'm into because I know that I can make money from them, and this is how I make my extra money on the side. I love cryptocurrencies. This is why I have a cryptocurrency channel. I like video games. This is why I have a YouTube channel that is about video games. Find what you love, and that is your side hustle. It does not have to be something that you hate. If you like driving, a lot of people do, and you don't mind delivering stuff to other people's houses and homes, Amazon Flex. There are tons of ways for you to make money. A multitude of ways. And the last one, probably one of the more obvious ones, especially when it comes to Amazon Flex. If you don't want to deliver stuff in your car to other people, how about driving other people around? It's a very good way to make money. I know in a lot of countries, there have been problems with Uber or against Uber. And a lot of that came from taxi and cab drivers not wanting their business being usurped. For those of you who don't know, I heard this discussion once when I was in London. If you are a London taxi cab driver, you have to know the actual entire map of London. Like, you are obligated before you take the test to know everything. You have to know every street, every corner, and that's not a joke. I think if you mess up on any of it, you don't get the license, bam. Not a taxi cab driver. A couple of years ago, when Uber really started to become popular in London, a lot of the taxi drivers were like, well, that's not fair. And people were like, what's not fair? If you're a taxi or Uber driver, you have the app in your car, you put in the GPS coordinates, and you drive there. And this is where a lot of the frustration and tension comes from because of these things, especially I think in New York as well, like to buy a medallion years ago. Like I think you need a medallion to be able to drive a taxi in New York. And I think the medallions were valued at over $1 million at one point. So you were holding onto this thing that you were also in debt to the taxi company for $4 million. And all of a sudden, somebody in a 2004 Honda with a smartphone took your job, was making a bit more money than you as well, and were getting more customers because you were then, as a taxi driver, seen as more expensive. Anyway, this thought I'd give you a little bit of a history lesson because a lot of people don't know why some arguments have been against Uber. The entire point being, this is another really easy. I have a friend. He's a Lyft and an Uber driver, and this is actually, I think, like his job. He started doing it as like a little side thing. He had nothing to do during like weekends. He was like, I'll kind of do it, and now he does it all the time. Sometimes, I think he lives in Arizona. Sometimes we'll just chat on video chat for like a good 5 minutes. Hey, dude, what's up? How's everything going? He's like, oh, he's got a job. I will talk to you later. It's also, you also choose your own hours. I think this is also something that is very appealing about a side job or a side hustle, is that you choose when you want to do it. This is why I go back to the exact same discussion before. How much money is enough? How much do you need? I live a very minimalist lifestyle. I don't expect everyone to do that, but if you can do that and do 2 or 3 of these things on the side, you are then completely fine. Like, my living expenses per month were completely covered by me just simply selling on eBay. That was it. I have never liked the idea of working for someone. I never liked the idea of sitting behind the desk. I don't want anybody telling me what to do. I worked in retail for, I think, a month and a half when I turned 18, and that was the click. Whoever that woman was, I don't know her name anymore. Thank you very much for screaming at me over the headset thinking that I wasn't going to scream back. I cursed this woman out. I had to fold jeans, shirts. I had to say hello and goodbye to every single, and I mean every single person who was going in. Every single person. I missed one person, and this woman screamed at me over the headset. I turned around looking for where she was, and I looked at her, and I cursed her out. Excuse me. Little did I know is that everyone else also in the store also had a headset, and they all heard the confrontation. And I think I clocked out early. I went home. She told me to go, I think, take a breather or something like that. I was like, sure. And the next day, she called me. And I was wondering why she was calling me, and I looked at my phone. It was around like 10:30 in the morning. I was supposed to have been at work at 8. And I was like, sorry, miss, I quit. And that was the beginning of my movement into the discovery of investing and also looking for things to do on the side because I don't like being talked down to. A little bit of a history lesson once again. Yeah, I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that I helped. I do hope that you understand that there are a bajillion ways to make money. There is something for everyone. If you have kids, if you like talking to kids, if you have been a teacher before, you may find yourself out of a job. And the saddest part that I find is that a lot of people are losing their jobs. And I think sometimes we feel hopeless. We feel like if we're trying to do something, if we've done something before and things kind of break down, we kind of also break down with it. Understand, in the age of where you have a smartphone, where you have a tablet, where you have a laptop, where you have a home computer, you can make an enormous amount of money. There is literally no limit to what you can do. It's just about being imaginative. It's about being creative. I hope that I sparked something in someone's mind. If nothing else, I hope that one person here is like, I'm going to go around to the local businesses around here and I'm going to ask them if they have an Instagram. I'm going to start selling so-and-so on eBay. I'm going to start using my car as a way to deliver packages and be an Uber driver. There are so many ways that I can't even possibly even think of. There was a guy in my area for a while. There was a pizza shop around the corner, and I kept on seeing this man walk around with like a bucket and like a squeegee, and it was like, what, dude, what are you doing? I went inside the pizza shop one time, and he like threw the bucket of water on the wall, and I was like, this guy's nuts. And I was like, dude, do you see the guy? He was like, yeah, no, he works for me. And I was like, what do you mean he works for you? This guy was going, and I kid you not, he would go home or find a pump or something. He was taking the water, and he was cleaning all the businesses' windows. I think he was doing it, once or twice a week or something like that. You would see him around the neighborhood so many times. Summer, spring, winter, fall. All you had to do was call, for those of you who got that reference. He was always there. And I asked the pizza guy, I said, how much are you giving him? He's like, oh, about $20 to do it. This guy had thrown his bucket of water on the window and squeegeed it. was done in around a good 38 seconds. You've seen the people squeegee before, like really, really fast, and all the water's completely gone. And he walked inside, got a 20, walked away, was on to the shop right next door. You can make money in so many ways. Don't feel restricted. Don't feel hopeless, helpless, lost. You can find something, I promise you. I do hope that you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.